December 22nd through January 18th, and that was how many?
Oh, wait, I
You
forgot
two.
about January.
3. Snow goose is your animal totem. The crystal is your mineral totem. And the birch tree is your plant totem. Now for you who are on the opposite side over there, all this side down in here, this might possibly be your weakness unless you've already been working on it and cultivated and groomed it into a strength, but the tendency would be that. So you want to know more about this, well, they need to know what their powers are. These people have a tendency to be communicators. They can make good preachers, teachers, counselors, writers, authors, publishers, for you see it in every one of their totem powers. You don't have to be outside to know that the geese are going over. They can sound like a herd of barking dogs. All of them going at it with each other, communicating. You see it in their crystals in watches, radio, television, radar, sonar. You even got the old crystal ball gaugers. Communication. Birch tree. Going to an Indian tribal area where they have their own museum. If they're in a birch tree area, that tribe, it's very possible you might find amongst some of the old relics on display the birch bark letters. Communication. There are some other things about these people. If you get one of these on your board or your committee, they might be a good follower of you, but they're not going to be a clone of you, and don't expect them to be identical in thoughts and everything you do, because they're going to want to fly off the side of the street to be, they're following you, but they're going to be able to see for themselves. They have their own personal views. Oh, another thing about them. They don't mind, if you ask them to take a place of leadership, they don't mind taking leadership for a little while. But don't plan on trying to leave them there. It won't work. They don't mind going to the front of the V and leading the V for a little while, and then they're going to say, now I want to come back to the back and let somebody else take the lead and I'll work my way up. These people, they are very gregarious. They like being with other people. Watch a snow goose. A good place to watch them is to go up here outside of Stanwood. When they're making that flight from their nesting grounds up in the North Pole country down to the Gulf, they'll come in there by the thousands. A big open field in there. If you go to watch them, be careful, don't slam your door or the sky will get dark. There'll be so many of them bump off, but they'll be back on the ground. They like to be together, they're gregarious. They like to be with other people. Oh, another thing about these. A little later when I talk about cougar and hawk, cougar flies behind me, remember the cat family. Hawk, the only thing flies higher is eagle. Spiritually, philosophically, in every way, they like to climb high, fly high, but next thing you know, they're back down. Cougar back on the ground, hawk back on the lamppost. Snow goose doesn't fly high like they do, but then you got the cougar and the hawk people in your church board or committee or whatever committee or group you have, board on a project, flying high. They'll come back with great ahas and visions for your group, your board, your committee. But next thing you know, they've dropped it. But these people won't let it drop. These people have tremendous powers of endurance in flying. Flying some 5,000 miles from the nesting grounds in the north to the Gulf for the winter, only to fly 5,000 miles back in the spring for their nesting ground. They're like that battery, just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. They got tremendous powers of endurance. It's good to have them in your board or in your committee because they will keep you on track as far as keeping you going on following something with a big aha. A weakness, well, if they get out of balance, they can become very nitpicky. All that, watch the geese sometimes, picking the bugs and lice and all other geese. A snow goose person, you might find, oh, they're nitty-picky with you over this, that, and the other little. You think, well, what's that amount to? That's making a mountain out of a molehill. Don't get upset and angry with your snow goose friend. Maybe they're just out of center, out of balance. Be a friend. Just help them get back and get centered, and they won't be nitpicky anymore. Well, there are many, many other things to say about snow goose, but let us move on.